One fisherman let his fellows walk ahead of him and lingered alone on the beach, gazing at the beauty of the sun on the sea, until his eyes could no longer bear such brightness, and he turned his back, feeling the warm rays caressing the dark curls on his head. He looked at the sleepy Shadar, with its crooked rows and circles of gold-tinged white houses, and marvelled at how lucky they were that their gods had given them such a place to live. He looked up to the sky to give thanks to the gods before the sun chased them to their rest. And then he turned to look one last time at the endless stretch of the sea of misfortune. And he saw that he was no longer alone. A ship, no, 3 ships, were sailing for the Shadar. The fisherman's sharp eyes picked out the 3 black spots and realized these were much larger vessels than the simple fishing boats of the Shadari or the Nomas. As they steered into the harbour, the fisherman could see that the great sails were in tatters and the ships were badly damaged. Odder still, he could see no one about, not in the rigging, nor on the decks. They were ghost ships. Yet they stayed in tight formation, one leading the way, the other 2 just behind. A chill ran up the fisherman's spine, and he shut his eyes tightly, hoping that when he opened them the ships would be gone. But they were not. All that day, the Shadari gathered on the beach, coming and going as their tasks permitted, gossiping, speculating, fearing, hoping. 1,000 times someone volunteered to take a boat out to where the ships had anchored far off the shore in the deep water, to welcome the visitors to the Shadar. But each time the fears of their neighbours won out, and they waited all together, doing nothing. They looked to the temple, wondering what the ushers thought of the new arrivals, hoping they would descend to the beach and give their people guidance. But they remained hidden. The day passed slowly, and as the sun began to slide behind the mountains, the fishermen prepared their boats for the night's catch. Phantom ships or not, there were fish to catch. As the gods began to show a faint presence in the sky, the drums called out the evening prayers. Life continued. But the fisherman who had first seen the ships had not lost his uneasiness, and as he examined his nets, he kept looking out to the empty decks of the 3 ships. They looked as if they'd come through storms and rough waters, as if they'd been battered against rocks and tossed upon forbidding shores. Their crews must have seen the wide open jaws of terrible beasts and smelled the seductive perfume of strange flowers. The Shadari did not cross the sea, and they didn't cross the desert beyond the western mountains. The Shadar itself had always been enough for them. What calamity could have inspired a journey such as these ships had endured? He waited for the stars to come out and watch over the Shadar. It would be all right then. As the fisherman looked at the magenta sky, he saw a black splotch like a stain on the horizon, a shadow forming over the sea, which spread and grew larger until he saw not shadows, but black shapes, great flying creatures. The fisherman recognized them at once as Derashadi, the beasts that carry the souls of evildoers down into the depths of the earth after death. Phantoms swarmed from the bowels of the ships, crawling across the decks and into the landing boats, and mounting the flying beasts. The phantoms were giants to the Shadari. Their pale skin was the colour of death, marred by oozing purple.